Vent to Kiran, Episode 1, The Body That Survived. 6 years ago, I started Vent to Kiran as a conduit for people to get their stories out there and potentially seek advice from a community that's safe and supportive. I'm happy to say that I'm in a place in my life where I feel I'm ready to start this again. I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser, and I've been through a hell of a lot more. So make sure if you have something that you want to let out, talk about, or just ask advice to your Didi Kiki about, send it to venttokaren@gmail.com. The first submission today is very special to me, and I'm going to use it for the entirety of our episode. For those of you who don't know, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I survived both uterine and ovarian cancer. I had a total hysterectomy and an ovary removal, and I'm not on hormone replacement therapy. Life is different, and I'm happy to talk about as much as I can with you guys. I am not a medical professional. I'm just somebody who's going through something crazy. Without further ado, let's get started on our first submission. This comes from Everlasting Twinkles. Hi, Didi Kiki. First, I want to start with the story of how we met. How they met me. When I read this, y'all, shocked. While Kiran and Ankush were on their honeymoon in Hawaii in October 2024, my husband and I were holidaying at the same resort. They had tickets for the resort's luau, and so did we. My husband was taking photos of me, and Kiran looked over and asked if he can take a photo of her and Ankush, and it was left at that. Fast forward to November 2024, on my 29th birthday, my entire life was uprooted, and I was diagnosed with triple-negative stage 2 breast cancer. While going through chemotherapy, I mentally, emotionally, and physically was depressed and angry at life. I feel that, girl. I felt like I was the only young woman going through this. Being bored and just trying to find something to kill time while recovering from aggressive chemotherapy, I decided to make a TikTok. I was scrolling through young women with cancer reels to not feel so alone. I then came across the live of Kiran discussing her cancer journey, and I literally called my husband over, and I'm like, isn't this the girl from Hawaii? He didn't remember, and I was like, yes, I remember her beautiful curly hair and her red wedding churas. Turns out that right after holidaying, Kiran and I both were diagnosed with different types of cancers. And we're both basically sick on vacation without even knowing it. The universe works in such a weird way, making you cross paths with people that you're meant to cross. Throughout her cancer journey, I watched her lives, and hearing that we had similar chemo side effects and seeing her positivity partially motivated me to keep pushing and get out of my head. I even told myself, if she can do this twice, I can do this now. Everlasting Twinkles, you are a hero to me. At this point in life, some advice I would ask is, how do I stop myself from beating myself up about things I can't do because I've had cancer, and the things I can't have because I've had cancer, i.e. pregnancy when that's all I've ever wanted, post-chemo pains, which is impacting my mobility, my inability to sleep soundly most nights because of medical menopause, and intimacy not being the same prior to cancer because of maintenance treatments and the medical menopause. I'm trying to be grateful that I'm alive, but there's still so many things that run through my head that make me feel like I failed at life and failed my husband, even though he has never made me feel that way. Thank you, Everlasting Twinkles, for sending in your submission, and thank you for just being so vulnerable in your email. I'm in the same exact boat as you. I'm going through surgical menopause. Just a walk through the park feels like it's too much some days. And we're just too young to be going through what we're going through. And it feels so unfair. It feels like the world kept going and we're stuck here in this place where we have to figure out if we are going to survive or if we're not. And I think you're pretty much the same age as me, and all of our friends and all of our family that are the same age as us are getting pregnant, moving on with their lives, starting families, and it feels like you're frozen in time and you can't figure out if you're going to go 2 steps forward or 5 steps back. And you don't know what the next scan is going to say, what the doctor's going to say, what's normal, what's not, what recovery is like, what isn't. What I can say with almost fact is that your husband does not view you as a failure, and you are not a failure. You've been through the hardest thing, in my opinion, a human body can go through. You've been poisoned inside and came out alive. When your own body turned against you, you made it through. So do not ever think of yourself as a failure. In just a moment, I'm going to call in my husband, who may be going through something similar that your husband is experiencing. And it may be helpful to hear the outside opinion of somebody who's going through what your husband is experiencing, so you can be reassured that what you're going through is not a negative impact on him. Because what I can say with almost 100% certainty is that your husband's just happy you're here, happy you made it through, and happy you're ready for the next step of your lives. Now here to introduce Ankush.
Hello.
This is my husband, Ankush. Ankush and I met in June of 2022. We met about 6 or 7 months before my first cancer diagnosis with uterine cancer. And then after our wedding in August of 24, I was diagnosed with my second ovarian cancer in December. Actually, sorry, it was January of 2025.
Yep. Like end of January. Crazy times.
Crazy times. So Everlasting Twinkles is an AYA cancer survivor.
What's an AYA cancer survivor?
Adolescent young adult cancer survivor.
Okay.
She had breast cancer back when I had ovarian cancer.
Okay.
And she went through chemotherapy and is now struggling with a lot of the same things that I'm struggling with. Menopause, general grief of the person that they could have been. But guess what? We're in the body that survived.
Yeah.
So Everlasting asked, at this point in her life, some advice she would like is, how does she stop herself from beating herself up about the things she can't do because she had cancer, and the things she can't have because she had cancer? Pregnancy, post-chemo pains, and intimacy that's not the same prior to cancer because of medical menopause. So Everlasting right now, I think, is in a similar situation where I am, where menopause is really getting to you. You know, you're watching all your friends go through these things like pregnancy, starting families, moving on with their lives, and we kind of feel frozen in time. And then at the same time, intimacy is not the same. You're going through menopause, and this is not where we're supposed to be in life right now. And she feels like she may be failing herself and her husband. So as the husband who's going through the other side of this, the caretaker side of this, watching your wife go through one of the most difficult things that a human being can go through, and also being affected by the, not being able to have kids in the same timeline, different avenues of starting a family, and watching your friends go through it. How do you feel in this situation? And what would you say if I were to say that I felt like I was failing you as a wife?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say is our marriage isn't just about having kids. I know, like, the olden days, people are like, yeah, get married to have kids. I married because I love you, right? I married you because you're my best friend and we have a great time together, and I want to enjoy life's experiences. But also, on the other end, I do get a little sad, right? Because having kids is one of the benefits and the nice things about marriage, right? But it's okay to be sad, but I never felt like I blamed you for it. It's not like you went to the cancer store and was like, I'll have 2 cancers, please, right? It's,
right.
Right? It's an unfortunate situation. And also, I didn't meet you. I was like, oh man, I hope she doesn't have cancer, right? It's life. Life throws crazy curveballs and other type of pitches, and you just got to adapt. But one thing that's true is that I love you and I married you, and I just want to have a life with you, no matter what it is, because no matter what it is, we're going to have a great time.
So, Everlasting is going through a lot of what we're both going through, and a lot of the conversations that I think we have with each other on a regular basis, just to check in on how we're feeling, is like, what are we going to do if this happens? What are we going to do if that happens? And really preparing for doomsday. And feeling like, I sometimes feel like I failed you too, As a woman, I feel like I should be able to carry kids. I should be able to do these things that a newly wedded wife should be able to do.
Yeah.
And I understand completely where Everlasting is coming from, because it feels like a failure.
Yeah.
And what's your opinion on that?
I don't think you failed me. I mean, I married you, and I'm the happiest I've ever been despite all that, and we got through it. There's some things in life that you can't account for and plan for. No one plans to have cancer. No one plans to go through all this. It's just life. One thing that holds true is that, like, we're married, right. We're a couple, and no matter what life throws at us, we get through it together. It's okay to feel sad, right? It is grief. It is loss of something. But just because I'm sad, it doesn't mean it's your fault. It's just like what the situation is. It's okay to grieve. You need to grieve. You can't just brush it under the rug. Feel sad, but express it. But it's important to express it to each other. I think the first challenge we had was that we were kind of dealing with it on our own, and then it would impact us as personally. Then it would like seep into our interactions without us ever addressing it, and then we would get into like fights and arguments and all that. I think the number one thing is to get to face with each other and say, hey, I'm sad about this. I don't blame you for this. Let's get through it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like when we're able to speak about these things with each other, because we're both processing different sides of the same grief.
Yeah.
Like you're processing a loss of the marriage that you imagined.
I guess, yeah, like when you think about, oh, what do you want in a marriage? I want to marry my best friend. I want to experience life, have kids, raise the kids, I guess. Yeah, everyone envisions that.
Yeah, and then I think Everlasting and I may be processing the loss of our bodies.
Yes.
And the loss of the control, the autonomy we had over our bodies. And at the same time, we feel almost responsible for the loss of your dream that you had, of that vision, that family. Yeah. And of course, like it's definitely not blame, but I think we're all experiencing grief.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to express that, like the failure. Like, what can you say to somebody that feels like a failure? It's really just a matter of speaking to each other, I guess. And like understanding that you don't have the control over these situations.
Yeah, and like failure, it's like failure is like a quantification of something, right?
Right.
Like I don't see it as a failure because like it's an equation, right? There's multiple things that go into the equation. Like kids plus happiness plus marriage plus life experience equals good marriage, right?
Yeah.
Just because you lose one, you can like doesn't mean the whole thing is a failure.
Right. And I think there's also like everybody's like, oh, adoption's so easy, surrogacy's there, like. And I think part of it is also processing that, like, it's not fair that we have to do that.
It's the change in mentality, right?
Yeah.
Because before the cancer, we were like, okay, you're going to have kids, our nursery's going to go here. And now it's like, okay, is surrogacy possible? Did we freeze our eggs? You know, can we adopt? Can we do... It's a shift, and sometimes it takes a moment to adjust to the shift.
Yeah, it's like a future we were handed, not the future we dreamt of. And that's okay, because I do think that, like, I'm not going to say everything happens for a reason, because I think that's bull. I think that if this was what was intended for us, then, like, F the universe, right? Yeah. But we do have these cards that we were dealt, and it's up to us what we do with the cards that were dealt. So it's up to us if I can just sit there and wallow, or if I can say, F it, I'm going to restart Vent to Kiran, and I'm going to make a podcast where I can talk to people. And you can do something similar, not start a podcast if that's not what you want to do, but you can pour yourself into something else. You can start the adoption papers. I know that that's something that we're planning on, but again, there's that like road, there's that like brick wall of like, no, you have to wait until you're cancer free for at least this amount of time, because right now you're getting poked and prodded and tested for every single thing. And I know personally for me, I don't want to bring a child into that.
Yeah, I think one thing that's important that we benefit from, you and I are like pretty pragmatic. Like we're already at our core very pragmatic people with everything that we thought with, but this is a very emotionally intense situation to go through, and it's really hard to process that. So for a lot of people, it's first adopting a more pragmatic mindset, right? Like just take the emotion out of it and see what's real, right? Like you said, I just beat 2 really bad illnesses. I want to make sure they don't come back or nothing gets worse, because you don't want to make it worse for the kid or me and all that. And that's what you got to adopt.
I think also one thing that sucks too is like the only person who really understands the way that I'm feeling right now is you.
I don't think so.
I think you're the only person who's grieving the loss of the family we would have had.
Yes, I mean, I can empathize in that regard, but like also you're the one that had the cancer, you went through chemotherapy, you're the one that faced your own mortality.
Yeah.
I faced losing my life partner. You faced losing yourself.
Right.
So I think that's the difference, but we can empathize and appreciate the struggles of each other, and that's important to understand.
Right.
And it's also like, look, as the caretaker, I think one thing it's very important. It's okay to feel burnt out. Like, taking care of someone when they're going through all of that is a lot too. And you gotta...
Yeah, I want you to speak on that a little bit, though, because I think I saw it as, like, every day I'm trying to live.
Yeah, and every day, me, I was like, every day I need to help my wife live.
Right. So how do you feel right now? Like, I know that, like, Everlasting and I are processing, like, a different kind of grief and everything like that. But how do you feel? Because I think we're all scared. Like, we're both a little bit scared that it's going to come back. It's going to whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think like that. I think I've kind of I've went through like a closure. Mm-hmm. So I know, look, life gets unexpected. I know it's unexpected. If something unexpected happens, we're going to have to get through it. Yeah.
That's true. I think we both have a different view on life now. We're like, this is the life we're given. We have to live it the best we can.
I don't have anxiety about things going wrong because I know we'll handle it. Going through this was so eye-opening, and it showed the power of like what we can do together. Because no matter what, even though we were going through different things, we still did it together.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
You went through chemo. You were like literally trying to just survive. I was trying to make sure everything's comfortable for you. I'm doing everything like to make sure you're safe, and you're doing everything to make sure you're safe.
Yeah. And how do you feel though? Like, how did you feel going through that? And I think the biggest thing is like the failure aspect, right? Like,
so I think this is the misunderstanding, or not the misunderstanding. This is like the guilt you put on yourself. I never really thought, wow, how could she put me through this? How could she take this away from me? And my thought was, this is my wife. I don't want to lose her because we go through everything together. If we can't have kids conventionally, we'll figure that out. I cannot lose my life partner. That's the only thing that goes through my head because I'm literally seeing like the first time you went through chemo, right? You had that crazy allergic reaction and the whole floor went there, right? My whole goal was like, I don't want that to be the last thing I see. So I don't blame you for anything. And I think that's more so like the pressures of like a conventional marriage. But they're like, you got to get married. You got to have kids.
Yeah, I think that also factors in. Like, we're both Desi. Like, I'm Caribbean and Punjabi. You're Punjabi. Like, in a South Asian household especially. Not to say our families have put that pressure on us right now. But, like, it was expected. Like, everybody was waiting. Like,
speak for yourself. I had that pressure, like, from my grandma at the day of the wedding. I gave her a hug. She's like, have a kid before I die. And I'm like, okay, at least you're not dramatic.
Yeah, and I think it's like the guilt of like you hearing that from your family. Like, my family is not putting that on me right now. They know everything I've gone through. They know what the next steps are. But like, I know that there are parts, like if they weren't as understanding, that pressure's there. Like, you see that pressure, and it's completely normal and understandable because they want to celebrate and enjoy and be there with the children. But it's like that outside guilt of like, the family's putting the pressure on you. I can't physically carry kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, they don't understand what went into the process of chemotherapy, cancer, hysterectomy, whatever it may be. And you have to then be the one to explain, like, no, we can't. And it's my fault.
It's not your fault. Like, I think fault is the wrong word. Like I said, it's not like you went to the store and said, I'll have 2 cancers so I can't have kids, right? You can't put the blame on anyone. So fault is the wrong word. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault for getting cancer.
Yeah.
You gotta shift the thinking. You and what's her name?
Everlasting Twinkles.
Everlasting. I was about to call her Sparkle. I feel like
Everlasting Twinkles.
Yeah. Fault. It's no one's fault that you're sick. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I think that's why I wanted to bring you in too, because I can only speak for what Everlasting and I are going through. You can speak for what the husband may be experiencing and give an outside perspective on how we've been feeling the whole time. And it is nice to hear that you don't fault us. I think that, unfortunately, I can't give more advice on what's happening because I'm in the same boat as Everlasting right now. Like, I'm feeling all the feelings that Everlasting is feeling. So all I can tell you for sure is that you're feeling the right thing. I'm sure of that because I message my doctor every day on the My Chart app, like, hey, this is happening. Am I supposed to feel this way? Is this supposed to happen? And they're like, yes, Kiran, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no failure. I mean, Albeit, this doesn't go for every person. I can only speak on my on my
right.
Right.
Everything we say is our own opinion.
Some people get married, and the biggest thing they want is to have kids. You can't blame the person for the inability to have kids. I got married because I wanted to fall in love. I
You didn't fall in love before you got married?
No, like not wanted to like the point of marriage was to solidify love, not find love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to explain. I got married. I married you for you. I didn't marry you for for having kids. I
get what you're saying. Like, you married me to be with me. And
then everything else is icing on the cake.
Right.
I didn't marry you so I can have kids, and then you're just helping me take care of my jewel, right? You are the jewel. And then when we have kids, they're also going to be the jewel, right?
Yeah.
That's and then together the family is a crown. Oh my God!
Ooh,
what an analogy!
I won't drop the mic though because it's gonna sound.
It's
bad.
also really expensive. Please don't drop that.
Okay, how do I stop myself from beating myself up about the things I can't do? Stop.
Well,
get help. No,
stop.
I'm just kidding. I think what I personally have done in this situation is pour myself into both my work and my social media. I think developing a hobby is very important, and also talking about it. Talking to people about it has helped me so much because there is such a community of young women who have gone through these things, who have processed these things differently, who are 20, 30, 40, 50 years older than us. And it's just nice to see that they're still here. Even if you don't resonate with their stories, they're here. And that has given me some kind of peace because I'm constantly scared, like, what if this next scan is it for me? And I think that's one way that I've kind of like come to terms with what's going on. Girl, sleep soundly. I don't sleep.
She doesn't.
I don't sleep at all. But what I do is know that I have 24 full hours in a day. What I do to make up those hours is up to me. So I'll either clean, cook, knit, edit, work. I will do something productive in those hours that I can't sleep because when I just lay there staring at the ceiling, it puts me into a spiral. And I have to make sure that in those hours where I can't actually sleep because I'm forcing myself to and my mind is racing and menopause is kicking in, I have to occupy my mind with something that will be productive. Where in the morning, I will not think that those 10 hours in the night were just wasted.
Yeah, and I think this is what, like, one thing that I don't experience. Like, you have that constant anxiety because you just beat it. You just got over it, right? You don't know if you don't know if something else is going to get taken away.
Right.
So, and I understand that. It's also important to get your sleep and rest, but I also understand why you can't.
I think the biggest takeaway from this, though, is that we made it.
We did.
Get out of the frame.
She made it.
We made it. And we survived. We're alive. And that brings us back to the name of our episode today. Vent to Kiran, the body that survived. Because this body has gone through so much and it made it out. This may not be the strongest physical body that we have, but this is the strongest body that survived. It made it out. And all you have to do is be thankful for it because it brought you here. If you want to be featured on our next episode, just submit your email to vent2karen@gmail.com. Not every episode is going to be this heavy, but I'm happy that I was able to speak about this with you guys. You can send an email about anything, and I'll be here to give advice. Occasionally, I'll invite Ankush in here for a guy's perspective, and we'll have guests in the future too. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed.